Hi, welcome back to this last segment of Focal Point on AFR Talk, 888-589-8840. Number to call if you'd like to join the program. 888-589-8840 is the number to call. Maybe you heard about the Senate website that actually refers to the Second Amendment as a collective right that belongs only to people who are in the militia, I believe is how it is worded. The Senate's official website says the Second Amendment right to bear arms is a collective right, not an individual freedom. Whether this provision protects the individual's right to own firearms or whether it deals only with the collective right of the people to arm and maintain a militia has long been debated. There's no debate about that. It says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, in order that when necessary, they may form a militia to protect the security of a free state. But it's not the right of the militia to keep and bear arms. It's the right of the people to keep and bear arms. And there have been two Supreme Court decisions that have affirmed that. In District of Columbia v. Heller, the Supreme Court said the Second Amendment protects an individual right to possess a firearm unconnected with service in a militia. In McDonald v. Chicago in 2010, the Supreme Court said individual self-defense is the central component of the Second Amendment right. So even the Senate's official website has got it wrong on the Second Amendment. And then maybe you heard about that story where three seventh grade students suspended for a year for playing with airsoft guns in their own front yard, 70 feet from a bus stop. They were shooting these guns. The bus wasn't even there. And they're shooting these airsoft guns, which can't harm anybody. Somebody ratted them out. They were reported for violating firearms law, which has no prohibition against Nerf guns or airsoft guns, and now they've been suspended for the rest of the school year. Now let's play. And by the way, another college official in Florida said the Trayvon Martin case proves that it's legal to hunt children in America. And you know what? He's right. That's what Planned Parenthood does every single solitary day. Now, the Steve Ratner clip, and he's talking about, they're talking about the debt ceiling. And remember, those that are critical of the Republicans say it's terrorism. It's a form of terrorism not to raise the debt ceiling. It comes up on Morning Joe. Let's listen.
Let's be a little bit more specific. What the White House is saying are two not different things, but two complementary things. They're saying, one, they will negotiate over the government shutdown and the continuing resolution, which is the business that's in front of us right now.
But not the debt ceiling.
The debt ceiling, their view of that is it's like negotiating with terrorists, that you just can't do that.
Like Barack Obama. Then you're saying Barack Obama was a terrorist in 2006 when he said he refused to raise the debt ceiling?
No.
Oh, so that wasn't an act of terrorism in 2006 when the president did it as senator, but it is an act of terrorism now that he's a president?
So Joe Scarborough doing some accidental journalism there, negotiating over the debt ceiling, won't do it. Negotiating is like negotiating with terrorists. And then Joe Scarborough says, okay, well then why wasn't it in 2006? Was he a terrorist in 2006? When he complained about that. Let's go to the phones, 888-589-8840. Let's go to Joe, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Joe, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Man, I really enjoy your show. I appreciate everything you're saying, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is semi off the subject, but I was just wanting to bring it to everyone's attention. You know, we need to pray for our leaders, like the word says. You know, if Obama got saved, it would save us a whole lot of heartache.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And so I just wanted to remind, because sometimes, you know, it's easy to get angry because we're not happy with what he's doing and how he's conducting himself, but he's just a sinner. You know, he's lost. And if he gets right with God, lots of things can change.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, I try to pray for him every single day by name, almost every day. Right. On this program, when we begin the program, I pray for President Obama by name as well as for our elected officials. I believe we need to continue to do that. And who knows, the day may come when those prayers are answered and we will see a change of heart. I mean, it happened radically to Nebuchadnezzar in the Old Testament, other kings whose hearts were far from God. So prayer can make a huge difference, and we may see the kind of conversion. You had Janet Gillespie on, talking about her journey out of darkness into light. If God could redeem her, save her where she was, he can get to anybody. All right, Joe, listen, I appreciate that. We do need to continue to pray for our president. Let's go to Gary, Fayetteville, North Carolina. Gary, welcome. What's on your mind?
Hey, Brian, love your show. Praise God for you and your staff for being able to put this stuff together every single day.
Thank you very much.
Comparing Obama with Nebuchadnezzar, I'd like to see Obama eat some grass. But anyway, I called about my theory with McCain is that he is so bitter toward America for not voting for him for president that he just wants us to eat whatever, with the Obamacare and everything else. He's just trying to punish everybody.
He kind of wants us to choke on it for not choosing him as president in 2008.
And the statements that he made, that's what I get out of it,
Mm-hmm. All right, well, and I don't know what is going on with John McCain. You have to guess what's going on in his heart, and that's always hazardous. But he seems to have this enormous resentment directed at Ted Cruz. I think he calls him a wacko bird. I think there's got to be some jealousy that Ted Cruz has come out of nowhere. He's been in the Senate for 9 months, and now everybody's talking about Ted Cruz. Nobody's talking about John McCain. So you got to wonder if there's just some kind of petty personal things going on there. All right, Gary, listen, I appreciate the call. Let's go to Jerry in Quinline, Texas. Jerry, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Yes. As far as that Obamacare situation, I mean, that's a disaster for America. I mean, and as far as, McCain and all of our senators up there on both sides, whether they be Democrat or Republic, it's like they're kneeling to him as if he's their God. And you don't put men before God, but of course that's what they're doing.
Well, and it's interesting, Jerry, if you worship government, which people on the left do, they look to for the things that you and I look to God for. Then it's a religious thing with them. That's why they're so passionate about it. And that's why they always say don't talk about politics and religion. Why? Because politics for people is a religion. And for people on the left, it's the only religion they've got. Government is God. You've got to have a Messiah in a religion, and their Messiah is Barack Obama. So there has been a form of idolatry directed toward Barack Obama. But it is interesting to see what's happened to his approval numbers. They're going into the tank. Let's see if I can find the lame duck disapproval of Obama's job performance hits 2-year high. This is according to the New York Times. 49% of the public disapproves of President Obama's job performance, only 43%. He's underwater no matter where you look at it. His approval ratings on foreign policy, the economy, healthcare, dealing with Syria, you name it, he is underwater in every possible category. Only 30% of Americans, according to the New York Times poll, believe that he cares a lot about their needs. So the bloom is rapidly coming off the rose. Anyway, Jerry, finish your thought.
And I'm standing for Ted Cruz, and as far as Corning goes, Corning is he's going to end up losing, his seat as far as being a senator.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys are in jeopardy because the American people are engaged on this issue, and they're watching, and they're not happy with what they're seeing. All right, Jerry, listen, I appreciate the call. Thank you for that. Let's grab a call from Ari in Wilmington, North Carolina. Ari, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just, the discussion is we're talking about great, momentous, and grievous circumstances. And I without a miracle, we're going to be oppressed beyond belief by what is coming. And God is there for us. He wants us to draw close to Him, and we'll find our strength in Him. But there should be no illusions about how great how grievous the circumstance is. God allows this to come for His own purposes. In His wisdom, He's allowed it to happen to us. But I would say we need to pack our bags and be ready to move. Instructions will come for us, but we must be ready to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, and I think you're right that it's not going to be a pretty picture. And the problem, I understand what you're saying, Ari. The problem is that there's no place left to sail to. I mean, where do we go from here that's better than what America offers? And that's why it's important to fight for this. This has been a beacon of light and freedom and liberty around the world. And that's why we want to fight for this, because where do we go? There just is no place left to sail to, as the president of AFA, Tim Wildman, has often said. I'm looking at this piece from Politico, and Ari's exactly right. The consequences of Obamacare are going to be catastrophic. Politico today saying consumers may have to dig a little deeper into their wallets to pay for health care in the Obamacare insurance exchanges, according to a new analysis by Avalere Health. The study of 6 states suggests that consumers could face steep cost-sharing requirements like co-payments, co-insurance, and deductibles layered on top of their monthly premiums. So the point here is that it's not just a matter of the cost of the insurance. There are going to be higher deductibles under Obamacare. The silver plan would have a deductible ranging from $1,500 to $5,000, which is higher than the average deductible right now under an employer-sponsored plan. So higher drug co-pays, higher deductibles, higher co-insurance than what they have in employer-covered plans. Obamacare going to be a catastrophe. Well, do not forget to bow low before God, stand tall before man, stand in the gap, and never forget we are fighting a winnable war. See you tomorrow.